Transition, the process of change from one condition to another.
We are now at a new crossroad where change is evident once again.
What does not serve us must transform us anew.
Returning to our original state of oneness and true nature of that which created who we truly are.
Confusion was the way of the past. Enlightenment is the way of the now and future, shedding away the layers of deceit.
We now bring you the transformation of the two who started as one. Our fearless planet never stands still.
Earth has been in a process of transition, and we are not exempt from this remarkable ongoing reality.
Well, hello and welcome. This is an unexpected show. We're going to be doing a little bit more of these, actually.
Yeah,
we're going to
it's
try
gotten
to...
a little cooler.
cold and we can't really walk and do a lot, so we decided, well, hey, you know, let's do more shows. Our format is going to kind of really maybe change a bit, you know, talk about what's important, what's in the news, whether it's trans issue, gay issues, health issues, you know, working out issues, things that everyone faces.
Things that might be relevant to your daily life or things that you encounter, like if you're watching the news or you see a story or something, like, you know, there's a lot of talk about different things going on, and we just wanted to, you know, just kind of like feel the pulse of people.
Exactly.
You know?
And talking about feeling the pulse of the people, we have been censoring people for quite a while. And I know that for me, having been through a very traumatic summer, beginning of the year, dealing with understanding the lack of acceptance and love that I've had from my family, which has been a lifelong struggle, but it came to a head this summer. So a lot of things just kind of, you know, made us like the wound is kind of like it was wrong.
It was really a painful time to deal with all that rejection and everything. It's not like we haven't been dealing with rejection all along, and I've really grown a lot since 2014 with regards to comments from people on YouTube and things that people have been saying in the past and stuff that have affected my own personal life on a day-to-day basis, you know. And we just decided, you know, instead of censoring people, if they say things or if they do things or if they, you know, want to cause harm or something, just let people speak. Let people speak.
In the end, everyone's got an opinion. What's that old saying?
Yeah, everybody's got,
Yeah, so everyone's entitled to believe what they want to believe. We notice, though, that there are individuals that just love to create scenarios. I mean, they come up with these storyline, you know, and it's been that way.
Oh, yeah.
From the beginning of our relationship. I mean, people have just...
They've pegged us better than we could even possibly peg ourselves.
I know. I was like,
wow.
It's like,
we haven't been under any psychological evaluation. We haven't gone to any specific doctor or therapist in our relationship.
I actually, to get as an occupational therapist, you have to undergo severely, you know, background stuff, and they do put you under certain things. So, you know, other than the normal, you know, people get depressed situationally, we all have issues. You're living in the 21st century, you all have issues. Because the way that we're living our lives these days, I hate to break the bubble, it's not natural.
It's not.
So we all have issues. I mean, we're constantly looking at our smartphones, information coming in, you know, things of that nature that is not meant for your normal nervous system.
Yeah, the the speed of this information just getting to you is just like a constant thing. It's just like a constant like feeding of your senses and your, you know, it's like gets to the place where it gets to be overboard.
Extremely.
I know.
Extremely. And it's not natural. So, you know, we're all a little bit messed up. I mean, that's how it is. You know, there's no shame in that because, you know, your parents didn't give you the attention that you required. They pushed you off to daycare, then school. You got strangers raising you. Your parents barely give you the time of day. They judge you. Then you got religion, which is another bag of worms, you know, where you're constantly being shamed, told how sinful you are, and crazy things of that nature that really mess with your psyche.
And they really do end up affecting you as an adult. You know, I mean, you deal with these things as a child, maybe the smallest little incremental, you know, maybe your parent spanked you for something that was very minute, but in that spanking, you make the connection that this way of being is wrong. You know, like I shouldn't talk, you know, because if I talk, then I'm going to get the belt, you know, and these kind of things, they linger on and they raise their ugly head when other things happen in your life.
For instance, I was always told as a child, children only speak when hens pee. According to my father, hens never pee. If I wanted to cry, it was like, do you really want to cry? I'll give you a reason to cry. So you don't get any true attention. Children require attention. You just don't leave a baby in the crib and allow them to cry themselves to sleep. Children need affection. They need to be able to have a voice. In our Latin upbringing, children don't have a voice.
No.
So could it possibly be that what many people see as narcissist behavior, and we're going to talk about a particular viewer that just loves to analyze.
We recently basically unblocked all of the people that we had censored in the past. So that's why our show is called No More Censorship.
Right.
Because we're releasing the floodgates. We're letting you speak your mind on our channel, saying whatever you want to say without regards to if it's a positive thing or it's a negative thing. It doesn't really matter to us as long as the communication is happening. Love us, hate us, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, we just want to be able to tell our story and to share our experiences, right? You know, I mean, we have been through so much, Mark. I mean, seriously, we have been through so much. And there have been people that are like, why don't you take those videos down? They're so negative. They hurt so many people. And it's like, you know, if we were to take down all of our videos, we wouldn't have a channel, you know, basically. And first and foremost, want to let everyone know that we are here, and we are here on YouTube as a partner to YouTube.
Exactly.
And,
you know,
we expect to be able to make
and it's
money.
And it's like,
right?
It's normal. How many people have YouTube channels and it's their business? There are people that are bringing in $10,000 a month with YouTube video. It's their job. So it's like we keep censoring people. It's like, you know, this channel has taken a massive dive. And I've had this channel since 2006. Okay, and it's because wearing feelings in the sleeves, worrying about what people say. It's like, listen, at the end of the day, we don't know any of you. And you think you know us because of what you're watching. You know, it's like watching TV. You watch a soap opera, or you watch whatever it is, you become attached to the characters. You hate some of them, you love some of them.
Right.
It's what it is.
And you know, back when you were doing your show as the church lady, you had a heavy hand, and you had a person that was a moderator on your show that was heavy-handed and, you know, said, you know, no tolerance, you know, you will be cut off. And, you know, that whole thing developed into like, okay, but if you guys say something that we don't like, this is a dictatorship. We're not going to allow you to speak your mind. And, you know, that is something that we figured now that is just inappropriate for us to do to regulate you in any way, shape, or form, because this is a free forum.
Yeah.
People are welcome to come onto this channel and say good, say bad, and
Whatever.
we are also grown up enough. You're, you know, we're both almost. I'm almost in my 50s. You're in your 50s.
I'm
And-
divided.
Yeah, and you know, we are grown up enough to take that criticism and not take it personally.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
it's taken me a while to get there, but I know that whether you guys hate us or you love us and you comment and you watch, some of you you binge watch our shows and stuff like that, or videos that we do, and others of you are so like disgusted with us that you watch as well. So regardless, the algorithm goes crazy.
Right.
You know, people like to watch either if they don't like us or they like us,
Right.
and it all works for our benefit. So this is why we just want to leave it open to you guys to just speak your mind, say whatever you want to say, and leave all the videos up. Most of the videos that we've done, we're just leaving it up. The church lady's up, you know, Gypsy Blue Nomads is up.
It's history.
All of it.
It's
is up.
history.
My detransitioning thing, your detransitioning, all of it. It's all up.
Right. And we're also willing to answer questions instead of making speculations like most people do. Because, I mean, people have come up with all sorts of scenarios. You know, instead of speculating, ask us. We will answer truthfully.
One of the earliest speculations was this past summer, was when people actually thought that you had basically kind of like stalked me out back in 2014, and you were like luring me to come down to New Mexico.
The Hillsboro.
The Hillsboro
Chiller or something.
I don't know,
It's
something.
like, seriously, people?
Stalker, the Hillsboro
Stalker,
stalker.
But, you know, people have too much time on their hands.
Or that they were going to kidnap me because I had been brainwashed by you.
Yeah, it's
all of these scenarios.
Oh, and we've got to read the latest.
Okay, the latest is from a viewer that has been nothing but negative ever since we first met her online. We've never really met her.
Right.
We've never really spoken to her.
No.
But she is first of all, wanted to let everyone know she's a Christian. She has her opinions about transgenderism, and you know, obviously, she doesn't agree with what we're doing with our lives.
And that's okay.
Right? That's fine.
You don't have to agree with what's. It's not your life.
Perfectly fine, right? But a comment was made, and a person wrote in all caps, "I liked Maritza." This was a video that you did earlier this summer. It was a trailer, something, right? And it said, "She was quite a nice woman, in my opinion."
Also, when we made all the videos public, and I don't know why YouTube does this, it did it also when you and I
know.
You know, and people were like,
What's going on?
Yeah. And it's like some of the videos appear like they're brand new uploads, and they're not. Somebody even made a comment of like, "Are you going to be in a documentary?" Because the word trailer. No, this was a trailer that I made. When you and I broke up, we had our trailer for the Real Talk with the Cummings, and I created a little trailer for my little church lady show.
Right.
So, no, there's no ulterior motive. It's just uploading or remaking everything that was private into public. So that's why that particular video. And as soon as like people just started commenting, it's like, whoa, what's, yeah. So
then I responded and I said, "That's nice. This is Lynna, and if you like intolerant people," which I felt that Maritza person, character, church lady was. Everyone has their favorite kind of people. I personally like Mark. I don't really care who anyone else wants to see on the outside. You know, if you see Maritza, if you see Mark, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I know the person that I fell in love with, and the person is not a male, it's not a female. The person is a person, you know. I know that the person that I fell in love with, and that is the only person who matters to me. Okay, that was my comment. I don't think it was rude.
no.
I mean, I don't think it was Like, you know, I just said, that's great. I'm glad you like that, but this is how I feel.
Right.
Well, this one viewer name is Rebecca Lavoie. She's obviously a person that has been critical of us in the past, has, you know, then chimed in after we unblocked her, basically.
Yeah. It's
And she
like,
said,
let people have their opinions, whether you like it or not. There was nothing unkind about the post above. The two of you have just become bigots and bullies.
the same thing that you accuse others of being. I'm not interested in your rationale. Okay, so she basically said she is not interested in any dialogue, any compromises, any understandings. I have learned, and this is like a firm learn, that that neither of you can be taken seriously. Our lives have been only completely out there and open for people to see, but we can't be taken seriously. The both of you feed off of each other's immaturity, insecurities, and drama.
Says the person who has had a lot of drama in their own life. They had to close down their Facebook page because things were happening. They had their issues, put it this way. But see, this is how people do. They reflect, and it continues. The dialogue continues. You have to have a public forum because you both have a form of narcissism that doesn't allow for you to function without an audience. So YouTube is a platform that has billions of YouTube creators. I guess we all have narcissistic personalities. And we're going to talk a little about
bit about narcissism.
That word is thrown around like crazy, but the 21st century is filled with individuals with narcissistic personality type, not the true narcissism. I suggest you educate yourself a little bit more on the topic before you throw around words and try to diagnose people, which, by the way, is against the law.
Well, the thing is that everyone in the 21st century has a degree of narcissism in them. I mean, it seems like this selfie generation, this IG generation, this, you know, constantly twittering about something generation, that generation is obviously full of narcissistic traits. Not everyone has narcissistic personality disorder, but they do have a degree of narcissism, and some of it is just because they're human, and you know, they actually do love themselves because they feel that that's important to be towards themselves, is to love themselves.
Or could it be that we are in a generation where parents scoot their kids in daycare, school, don't give their kids attention, their kids grow up with computers become their best friend. The social media is a form of communication of this day and age. So you want to label us with a narcissistic disorder because we have to have this is what we do. This channel has been in existence since 2006, and I've been a YouTube partner since then, in the beginning. And I do make an income from this. So, I guess all the TV shows, and then it's true, all actors and actresses and people that are out there, we all do maybe have some sort of narcissistic behavior. But so what? So do you.
I mean, it's like, just to flat out state that people are immature and that we feed off of each other's immaturity and our insecurities. Do you have any insecurities anymore?
No, and then,
I mean,
you know,
we dealing with insecure issues?
Listen, we all have some form of insecurity. To be human is to be insecure. People don't like their hair or lack thereof, their nose, their teeth, their eyes, their lob, whatever it is. It's because we live in a generation that we look at TV and we see these models and they're perfect. And we've like strived to be like the person on TV. So we all have insecurities, and we're all immature in some way or another. Okay. Because we're living a very artificial life. So what? So what, Rebecca? So what?
We're just trying to become better people. See, in our journey and in our immaturity and in our drama, and I'm sorry if you feel that our drama is like some unique spectacle that people want to just look at and point fingers at, and to just make it like as if we're the only ones experiencing these things.
She
I mean,
experiences herself. She has admitted a lot of things. And see, people don't remember when they say things. I never forget.
you have a steel trap.
I have, it's like, really, did you forget everything you spilled out to me about you?
So basically, she goes on and says, I mean this figuratively and literally. So the whole purpose for her being on the comment section is to demean and to criticize two people who she doesn't even know, right? I mean, nobody really knows who we are based on just what we put out on YouTube. You know, she goes, I have never agreed with anything regarding being transgender. Okay, you just drew the line right there, Rebecca. You just made your stance and stated, you guys are those type of people, and I am this type of person.
Right. And she has always let us know that from the beginning. Every single one of her comments, whether on Facebook or whether on YouTube, has been of that arrogant, elitist nature. And she continues to say, but I enjoyed both of you in the beginning because I thought that you were real people with real struggles, and I could relate to some of your points of view here. And this happens all the time. So people, they kind of get drawn in because they could relate. They see some of our struggles in themselves, but then all of a sudden, when we change our minds about about something, or things aren't aligned with their way of thinking, and that's it. I can no longer relate with you guys because you no longer speak my same language. So I just off with you. That kind of mentality.
Basically. And then she goes, I have since learned that your struggles come in the form of your own narcissistic doing. I have seen the unhealthy dance between the two of you.
So who is this person to judge two adults who were married, had relationships? Like, what about, are you married, Rebecca? How is your relationship? Would you call yourself? I think they said that their husband was a narcissist, if I remember correctly. They had some issue with their ex-spouse. And it's like they're trying to put their life
right
on us.
They're projecting
completely.
And by the way, Rebecca, projection is what narcissists do. So maybe you might want to look at the mirror.
Maybe it's you who's the narcissist.
That's what narcissists do.
Yeah.
Remember Narcissus? He was the one that looked at his reflection in the water and looked at himself and admired his own person.
Yep.
So anyway, she says, every time, and this is every time, that you two separate and could gain a sense of self from, every time that you separate from me, right? Lynna pulls at your heartstrings and your ego, capitalized ego.
Playing you like a fine-tuned instrument.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I am so conniving.
With your ego inflated, you run back, playing the knight in shining armor, ready to save the day. It's like, wow, you just created this whole storyline. Amazing.
Incredible.
I know.
It defies any kind of rational thinking, honestly, because psychologically, you're not even qualified probably to be a person to even diagnose anyone.
Exactly.
And the fact that you're saying that I would pull at your heartstrings. I mean, for just record, the only time that I was in a positive position in reaching out to Mark was back in June 30th, which was his birthday. And I put out a video just because I missed you and I still loved you. I do love you. I've always loved you. And I wanted you to have a good day, and I wanted to throw up the white flag and say, it's okay. I'm not, there's no ulterior motive. I'm just you know, it was a good moment, and I shared videos of my detransition and that in that time and stuff, and I visited places, and I shared what we had been through over in a video that had never been seen from Gypsy Blue Nomads about us visiting the redwoods or something, and just the good time that we had. I wanted you to see and remember the good times.
And prior to that, and for the record, because even my mother, I spent a lot of time in isolation in the little studio that I was living in her house. I'm a loner. I've always been a loner. From the time I was little, you know, I don't like being around. You know, they wanted me to go watch TV with them. No, I was in the room. I was working. I was doing, you know, a lot of things that I do online. And right away, my mama kept asking me, "Are you speaking to that person?" I said, "No, Mom, I haven't been speaking. We
hadn't been communicating.
We've been fighting. We don't, you know, we don't."
I was emailing you, and you were
ignoring it.
Responding.
I was not I just like delete. I didn't even open the emails. But that one time, you know, something about you were celebrating my birthday, and I saw on what you were doing, and I decided to listen. And I'm like, huh. And then that was the first time. It's like, okay, I was like, because I've always known, even though you and I have been fighting to the death, you still love me. But a lot of the stuff that we did to one another was still, it was out of pain. It was out of hurt, you know. And most people don't understand that. A lot of the evil things that Lynna said about me, and a lot of the evil things that I said about Lynna was just out of hurt because we still loved each other.
People that hate each other choose to like excommunicate each other and basically cut each other out of each other's lives. You know, that is more hate. I heard, you know, the term that, you know, the meaning of hate, the opposite of hate is not love. The opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is ignoring someone.
And neither one of us could.
Counting someone as not even existing. And I was still watching videos.
And I was watching this, even though we weren't speaking, I was constantly watching. As much as I didn't, as hurtful as it was to hear certain things, I was just like, is she doing okay? How is she? You know, I would always look and see. But we had no communication till that moment that you did that video. And then it was just like, and like, is that so wrong for two people to love each other and you're calling that ego and pulling of the heartstring? I'm sorry, Rebecca, that you're so bitter, and so lonely and have no love in your life. And that's usually what happens when people they don't know love. They've never known love. And gosh, I'm so sorry, Rebecca, that you have never known love like that. That you're so bitter and tainted, that you have to create your own scenario and reflect on us.
So she goes on and says, with your ego inflated. I mean, and this person has not done this once, but many times, sits around as an armchair therapist. You ran back to me. Is that right? Okay. Playing the knight in shining armor. Now this was where it gets a bit personal. Ready to save the day. Because honestly, Rebecca, and anyone else out there watching or listening to this video, Mark was my knight in shining armor. Mark was there for me when nobody, and I mean NOBODY, nobody was there for me. I fell off a mountain. And those of you who are, you know, familiar with the story, I almost died. And Mark happened to be the only person to come to my rescue. Okay? So, knight in shining armor is what you are. That's what you were to me. I literally had no place to go. I had no one to depend on. There was nobody coming for me. I was alone in El Paso, Texas, and I was very much in danger of going under a very severely life-changing and altering surgical procedure that would have impaired me for life. So when Mark stepped into my life and came in, as a knight in shining armor, he did so in a way that swept me off my feet. And when he offered to stay, I said, please do. And you did.
I did.
And from that moment
With
on,
no ulterior motives. I knew my life was going to be complicated from that moment on. I'm like, I should
You
just
didn't
walk
know.
away. I should walk away. I should just, you know, thank you for, sorry what happened, but gotta go.
and we have been through
Hell and back.
literally hell. Our relationship has been formed under extreme pressure.
Extreme pressure.
You know,
So the person continues to say, with your ego, and okay, I think that part, when you chose to verbally attack others, we don't choose to verbally attack anyone. We defend ourselves because people like you and those people that watch this channel take it upon themselves to have the freedom to be rude. We never draw first blood. I will never pick on someone just for the heck of it. But you come and you draw first blood, you're gonna see. You're gonna see who I am. I don't back down for anyone, nor do I fear anything.
we don't know a thing about you. We don't know you personally. We've never seen you. We don't judge you for your life and your decisions because we don't even know who you are. You're just a stranger. You're Rebecca Lavoie, and we don't know who you are.
Yeah, but if you write on our wall, it's fair game. Or on our comment section here, and then they proceed to say, you are just trying to deflect and distract from your own shortcomings. Our own shortcomings? Rebecca, what about your own shortcomings? You know, why don't you like worry about Rebecca and Rebecca's lack of life or whatever it is? We all have shortcomings. There's not one person on this planet that is perfect. And we strive, most people, to become better people day in, day out. Do we always achieve it? No. But who in the are you to tell anybody about shortcomings?
So she wasn't done. This isn't the last of her. She says, there is no argument that you can give that would change my mind. So Rebecca, your mind is made up. You obviously have a death wish as far as like wanting to nail us to the ground, right? You want us to feel your, you know, the pain of what you think you're doing. And it's like, please.
Do you think we care?
You're one of many that comment, and you're
Stranger.
frankly nobody to us.
Yeah.
So she goes on and says, I just see two people that are feeding. Again, we're feeding off each other's issues, like my issues and your issues,
Right.
and our mental instabilities.
Let's talk about your mental instability, Rebecca, which you know are many.
So I responded and said, Rebecca, it seems like every time that you appear on our channel, you always seem to have something negative and critical to say. My above comment was not offensive or bullying at all. They were simply my point of view of how I felt after personally living with this person next to me right now. So now that makes us both bigots. Rebecca, you can say whatever you want to say about us. Feel free to hate us. If that's what you want to do, thank you for watching.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I also wanted to add that we don't, you know, well, you wrote, we don't care to change your mind.
Yeah, it's like, we don't care to change your mind, and you're entitled to your opinion. All of you are entitled to your opinion. It's your opinion. Doesn't make it fact. We don't care. Realize that the only reason your voice is on here is because we chose to unblock all of you. Okay, so, and this channel is a business, and we're not here to cater to every single psycho who thinks they can analyze us and diagnose us. You are walking on dangerous grounds and have no right to belittle nor say what you say. It is against the law for you to diagnose. You're not a therapist. And if you were a therapist, you're still not allowed to diagnose two people you don't know.
And so I wrote, Rebecca, this is Lynna. I'm just so amazed at how you can find it possible to diagnose two people who you've never met even once. How is that? Do you think that you can honestly assess the type of people that we are based on the videos that we do on YouTube? Is that something that you seriously think is at all accurate?
Here's a comment section that you have every right to comment on. You can write down your thoughts It is your business, and Mark and I will not stop you. If you think that we are immature, extreme narcs, drama queens, or whatever other things that you want to say about us, here's the thing. It's just your unfounded, disconnected, very vague opinion about two random YouTubers that you don't really like.
So what does that remedy? What is it that you are after? What is your purpose for wanting to put us down? One thing that I've learned through encountering people like you, and I do honestly want to thank you, people like you have helped teach me to not really care about your opinions.
People like you make blind assessments based on faulty facts simply because you don't know us. We have never met you, and all I remember is that from the very first time that you began to comment on our channel was as this armchair therapist. Just curious, Rebecca, what do you do for a living? Do you work in the mental health field?
To answer your assessment of who we are, I would say that yes, we definitely do have narcissistic traits. Who in the 21st century does not? It seems like every human is born with a certain amount of narcness. Are we the only ones with these negative traits, or are they just a part of our overall human experience?
We have been through so much in just 5 years, and those experiences, traumas, triumphs, challenges, and victories have really transformed our lives in a powerful way.
You see things a certain way, and you have your Christian foundation to lean on, and that is great for you. No one's telling you not to have it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not telling you how you should live your life, and we've made past errors in judging others and their decisions, but we have grown, and we just try to live our best life.
You have seemed to have no respect to honor the lives and identity of trans people, and that is your business. But please do understand that just on that basis alone, you draw a line in the sand and pronounce your judgment over an issue that you seemingly know absolutely nothing about.
We are real people, and like I said before, we have been through our share of struggles, and thank you for watching in the past. We are not unhealthy, though. Mark and I have been through too much to remain the same. You seem to see us as maladjusted and somehow overtly narcissistic, and I just want to respectfully say that you are wrong about us both.
Mark and I separated 2 times because I failed to understand his love for me. I misinterpreted all of his care and concern for me as control. I no longer feel that way, and I know for certain that he loves me for me.
I do not play, nor do I stroke his ego. This diagnosis is absolutely unfounded and untrue and has nothing to do with me. I am absolutely sincere with Mark and have always been that way. Where was it that I played him? Was it when he rescued me from an 8-hour surgery, or was it when he let me stay with him in Silver City after my accident?
I was hurt, and he did come to me as my knight in shiny armor, and he literally did sweep me off my literal feet. I can't imagine my life without him.
It was not a stereotype, Rebecca. It was actually exactly who he's proven to be for me. Mark has always had a good sense of who he was, and the only reason he even detransitioned the last time was out of trauma and rejection.
This has nothing to do with his lack of sense of who he was or is. I missed him, and I wanted him back in my life, not just as a man, but as a person. I did not care how he presented himself to me as long as we were together, and that was proven to me. Because when we returned, I was appearing as Maritza, and that was important for me to know that it wasn't just the persona that you wanted, but that you loved me for me. And as soon as I felt that, it's like, okay, I am most comfortable this way. And we will talk about it a little bit.
And it took time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I wasn't pushing it. I didn't say, I want you back, as Mark or anything. I said, you're right. We have done our share of bashing. And for that, we have apologized. Mark's apologized several times for how he spoke. But we have decided that we're not going to be that way anymore. We are growing. We are not there yet. We're not. I admit it. You admit it.
Mm-hmm.
But we are striving to be better people. We are not mentally unstable. You don't know us. But hey, keep on projecting. Keep on watching. We love it when people watch our show. And our videos, love us or hate us. We are here to stay.
Listen, Like I mentioned earlier, in the world that we're living in, that is so much technology, fast paced, every single human being has faced some sort of trauma, rejection. Right now, we're living in a world where people are still trying to figure out who they are. And then you still have the bullies that make fun of people, whether it comes from religious sectors or whether it comes from their own home. You know, whatever it is, people are constantly being judged and shamed for expressing who they are. That is what needs to stop, so that people stop being traumatized. Because it is very important to learn to navigate this world as your true self, with your head held high and no shame. One of the reasons, okay, and we're going to talk about this, ever since you and I have been together, I've attempted to detransition 4 times, or 5 maybe. I don't know. I've lost count. It's been so many.
Let me see. It was May of 2015. Then it was November of 2015.
Mhm.
Then it was September of 2016.
Yeah.
And then it was,
A whole slew of times.
gosh.
Okay. But prior to that, the thought never even entered my mind. So I regress and I reflect, and I'm like, what in the world would ever lead this person right here that you see before you, that, you know, has always been a very alpha acting, male expressed person, even, you know, prior to my transitioning? What in the world would make me do such crazy things, give up my manhood, you know, and all this stuff? And it's like, for the first time in my life, I cared about someone outside of me. And not because I'm a cold-hearted person, because I am a very loving and caring person, and I think you could attest to that, but because I grew up in such a cold environment, had no love from the person who gave life to me. They didn't know how to love, and they still don't. I mean, that was proven to me when I went back home this summer, try to repair. I was hoping to get some sort of resolution, some sort of like, you know, having my mother, you know, tell me how sorry she was that she allowed my sexual abuse to take place, that she was not there and loving as a mother should be. I didn't get none of that. I continued to get reprimanded. I continued to be judged. I continued to be shamed. I continued to be told how I should wear my hair, that I this, that, and the other. That was something that I went through my entire life, okay? And because of that, there was a lot of insult and assault and trauma, okay? The reason for the detransition of all these many times was because for the first time in my life, I fell in love with a human being that needed my love and attention like I've never given to anyone, and broke down my defenses. So I don't know exactly what took place and what got me to like want to like just, you know, go back to the original state of the birth I was assigned at the gender I was assigned at birth. Whatever it was led me to some crazy experiences and feelings that I had literally swept under a rug for many, many years, because I did not want to feel. I did not want to feel because I grew up in a very abusive household with a very abusive alcoholic father, sexually molested for 4 years. I was a drug addict. I mean, I went through so much pain and suffering. And for the first time in my life, I allowed myself to feel. And because of that, allowing myself to feel, all my defenses went down, and then just the craziness that you've all seen unfold since Lynna and I have been together.
And I wanted to add, you know, that one of the things that took place was I was very early in my transition, and I was dealing with family issues. I was still separated. It had been almost a year, and I was struggling with that separation. I was struggling with the loss of those children, and I was nowhere, you know, well, you know, psychologically, I was very damaged, you know. So here we are, we get together. Mark comes into my life. I moved to Silver City. My life is just totally, I mean, no car, and I have no job and no income. I mean, I was totally like, I mean,
Yeah.
lost. So basically what ended up happening was you heard conversations that my ex was having with me on the phone and with my children.
Mhm.
And they were constantly referring to me, you know, dad this and this, that and the other. And, you know, and it was like a real like mental, like mind F, right?
Mhm.
Because you're just like, wait a minute. Okay, I fell in love with a woman, but the woman has children and the woman's a father and the woman's
Yeah, that was like
a husband, and you know, it's
very
like,
confusing for me.
so Mark is like, I love Lynna so much that I just want to let go of anything about me. If I could just allow her to be happy and just allow her to connect with her children again. I know that her children will never accept me as a man. So I'm going to do whatever I need to do to accommodate her family,
Mhm.
you know. And we did that. We tried that. You did it by yourself. And I was
Mhm.
like, well, what are you doing? You know, and you're like, you know, if you present, you know, you could just put your hair up in a ponytail and be just fine, you know. But for me, I'd have to shave my beard. I'd have to do this or to do that, you know. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it was just like, what in the world? So then later, you decide to detransition, and we're going to be living as two lesbians, you
Mhm.
know. And I'm like, I don't, what is this? What's going on? You know? So all these different scenarios are playing.
Right.
And then the God thing gets involved
Oh, gosh,
in
yeah.
2016. This whole guilt, fear, control matrix starts just ramping itself up and rearing its ugly face. And I start talking about how the Jezebel spirit and, you know, all this stuff is happening and demonic this and that. Or, I mean,
Yeah.
it was like totally confusing for you.
I think
You
somebody
know.
wants to call in. Darcy O says,
You
Yeah.
want to?
Yeah, it's I have it here. They could call in. If they
It's
call,
a
I could.
phone call.
Yeah.
So then anyway, we basically, you know, we're dealing with all this stuff, and in the back is always this desire for me to want to connect with my children,
Of course, and that was a
wanting to
massive.
do this and that.
You know, and I have always had a heart. You know, I even told in the beginning, hey, I know you got 5 kids. I'm there for you, and whatever it is, you know. But it was just like it was this constant wall. The kids wanted nothing to do with me. Everything. I was like this total stranger. You know,
couldn't
it's
even
like
speak.
I know.
You
and
wouldn't even be acknowledged
I
as
know.
a human.
I'm like, you know what?
Not even as a human.
And the
were you
last
even
time that
acknowledged.
we separated and divorced, I was like, you know what? Go and deal with your life and your kids. I'm out of here. Because it's
Right.
like it was such a struggle. And I was trying to be as what's the word, as accommodating and all that stuff. But it was just like I can't. I want a relationship that puts out as much as I'm putting out. And not that, you know, it's like give, you know, what is it? Tit for tat type of thing. No, but it's like I was used to an 11-year marriage that I was married to a biological born female who, you know, I was their world.
Right.
And they were mine, you know, and although I loved Violet, I was never in love with Violet as I am with you, you know, and great person, you know, it was 11 wonderful years, but I wanted more. And here I found what I wanted, but the person you couldn't give me, you know,
I was
like
damaged goods. I was still really, really distressed and distraught over the fact that I literally lost my children.
Yeah.
You know, that
and
was
that's
literally
understandable.
painful.
Yeah, it's
you know?
understandable.
And it took years for me to finally understand and accept it and to move on, you know, and to figure out our relationship and to know that, you know, if I'm your woman, I'm never going to be anybody else's anything. You know, I mean, that's just I mean, trans women, this is the dilemma we find ourselves in, is that, you know, you want to hold on to your life in the past and your life in the present.
It's
And
impossible.
it's really a dysphoric thing to have to go through, is to be called dad,
Right.
and then to be someone's wife.
Yeah, and that's what I think in the final outcome for my last, and I'm just going to detransition, because it's like I failed as a man. And it's like they don't. I'm not seen as a man. I'm not. You know, it's like, so heck with it. And I just it was almost like I was trying to self-destruct. Then I turned to religion, which is the stupidest thing I've ever done. You know, I was like, I hit rock bottom, and that's why I tell a lot of people that call themselves born again Christians. You hit rock bottom, you have nothing else, and then you found Jesus. And that's fine and dandy for anybody that wants to do that. Go ahead and do it. It's on you. But I did it out of the wrong reasons, out of desperation. It solved absolutely nothing. I felt absolutely nothing. I wanted to feel something, but I didn't, because I know too much. Okay? I'm not here to badger Christians or whatever, but I know too much. It is a coping mechanism when you hit rock bottom. And I hit rock bottom when I lost the love of my life, which is you. And I saw that, you know, nothing. I didn't believe in love anymore. I didn't believe in anything anymore.
I mean, people that would have seen any of the videos that I did, I was, you know, back when we were living in Silver City and had just broken up, they would know how devastated I was about losing you, you know, because I felt like literally somebody had died, you know, that the person that I knew was literally gone, and you were going to reinvent yourself as this other person. And I was like, what in the world? What just happened here? I mean, you know, I know that he doesn't like to let grass grow underneath his feet, but boy, the grass grew like there was no grass at any time, and you just like took off in another direction.
I didn't want to feel anymore.
You know,
I didn't want to.
It was like over.
You know, Mark, I was going to bury myself. You know, it was like the Mark in you was gone. I wanted to hurt you as much as I felt hurt, because it's like I gave so much of me, and it was just always such a struggle. It was a struggle for you to give.
I mean, I remember when we did our vows, and after like we got married, and you said, I just want you to give me all of you. I want every single part of you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I literally don't know how to do that right now, but I promise that I will, you know, I will get there eventually, but I don't know how to do that right now, you know, and it was very, very hard, you know, and that's the reality, you know. I mean, late transitioners, if you have a family, if you have kids, if you have these connections that have been made, it is very hard for you to move forward and to separate what one part of your life with another part of your life. And it is a struggle. It's not impossible to make peace with yourself, but it takes time. It took me time.
That, and the fact that early transitioners are very self-consumed and unable to have relationships.
Early
early transitioners are unable to do that, because they're so consumed with themselves and how they want to look and how they want to be. So it's like, you know, I had just finished breaking up in a relationship with an early transitioner. It was also the same things. I was like, you know, it's like, what am I, like a glutton for punishment or something? You know, and it's just like, I just want to love and be loved. And that's all I wanted. You know, I didn't think that was too much to ask for.
And it wasn't, you know, I mean, I totally take responsibility for my part in our breakup and our divorce. I totally do. And I really think that it was just something that we both had to go through.
I think so.
I think it was necessary for us to make that real cut so that growth could happen, you know.
So we have
like a purging.
It is. We have Awakening Warrior joins us, and Darcy O, who was actually FTM trans man, who I think I blocked back in the day. Welcome all, welcome, and thank you for
Yeah,
tuning
thank you guys
in.
for-
We're kind of like
We're just taking a little trip down memory
Lane.
lane a little bit, but also just trying to set the record straight as to, you know, what happened and answer any questions about people that detransition. I mean, a lot of times, those of us who do attempt to detransition, and all of our videos are back up. So if you guys wanted to view our detransition comments and videos that we did, I did one that became quite popular with the Christian community. It was called Detransitioning Lynna, and they even featured it on some stupid site or something.
Yeah.
Not that it's stupid, but just, you know, I just felt offended.
So,
No.
I mean, we're not criticizing detransitioners by all means. You know, I think that everyone is entitled to their journey. We do things based on pain, trauma, all sorts of stuff. Okay, let's see here. Oops. What just happened?
Allow, click allow. No, no,
Hold
click allow.
Hold on. Allow.
Yeah.
Oh, they hung up.
Try again.
Let me see.
Oh, I can get it there.
Yeah.
Press OK. I sent the colored voicemail. Goodbye.
Oh no.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
We haven't had a caller
In a while, so we can. If you want, try calling again.
Well, yeah. Leave your phone
I'll
there.
do it here. Here, it'll come
The
through.
speaker's better.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, it will come out through here, and if you put that on, it'll work.
Sounds better.
Connect. You can try calling again. Sorry, we haven't had a caller in a while, so it got a bit. Okay, so let me try to do this the right way.
Call from.
Are you there? Hello? They're still here.
Yeah.
Not speaking.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh, yeah. Who's this? Hey, Darcy. How are you?
Darcy. Thanks for being on.
I'm sorry, say that again. Are you there? Oh, it's all right. I mean, you know, things happen. We're all growing as human beings. We're all facing a lot of struggles and pain that we've had to deal with throughout life. And, you know, it's part of being human.
Oh no,
No.
you can hear.
Did something happen to this thing?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
we
see.
can
Hold
hear
on.
you.
Because our Bluetooth kind of
Yeah.
went.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we could hear you.
I don't know. You know how it is. Are you? How about now? Can you hear us?
Can you hear us now?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Sorry, we can't hear you.
Oh, I can't hear you through the phone. I can hear you through my TV.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. Speaker built in default microphone.
You should just go through the phone.
No, but it's all right. Yeah, wow. All right, no, we can hear you. Go ahead. We were just trying to use our Bluetooth, but it's not working. Can you hear us, though? Hello?
It's delayed because it's through the TV.
All right. Well, there's going to be a bit of a delay because I can't hear you through the phone. So I'm going to have to wait for your responses on the TV.
Let me see here. Go ahead and call again, and we'll do it over the phone. It'll probably be a lot better. I don't know why this is not working the way it should. Is that all right?
He's delayed, so I can't respond until you hear it.
All right. Well, try and put me on speakerphone then.
No, go ahead and call.
Just call.
Yeah, there we go. That's weird. What? Something's not working on this thing. Okay. I guess I could call him, but
He's gonna call.
Darcy, if you could call back and we'll just answer
On the phone.
on the phone, then that'll probably work a lot better than through. I still need to have this open in order for that to happen.
So yeah, so well, he's
Well,
calling.
he's calling back.
What are we?
What we were talking about, you know, the
Yeah, we were talking about detransitioners and stuff, and there you go. Speaker.
Okay, hopefully this works better.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press
All right.
Okay,
I
now
think
let's
we
see.
can hear you now.
Can you hear? Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
good.
Okay, good.
Okay, and
If you
hopefully
guys want to go ahead, you guys can put me on speakerphone.
Oh yeah, we're on.
we're
Yeah,
on
you're
speakerphone.
You're on speaker.
All right. So yeah. Anyways, I want to mention something here. I'm on a podcast. Some guy's channel. His name is Space Path. I'm on the last podcast. If you guys want to check that out, you can see what we talk about. We touch up on like everything, all this SJAW nonsense that for me doesn't represent me. I'm sure it doesn't represent you guys either. It just makes the community look really crazy.
It does.
It really does.
It really, really does.
You know, non-binary doesn't exist. There's only two genders
Mm-hmm.
that you can transition to hormonally. So there's non-binary doesn't exist. That just completely defeats the purpose of, you know, trans people, I think. And then you got all these like 87 genders. That's just nonsense to me. So I'm not on board with that at all. So
We
what
totally.
are you guys' thoughts on that?
We agree, but in the same time, you know, I don't want to tell people how to live their life anymore. I've done a lot of that in the past, and we want to be a beacon of light for people. If everybody, you know, wants to do whatever they want with their life, it's on them. As long as they don't do crazy things, what makes the community look crazy. And I think we've seen a lot of that in recent years. People that are just doing things.
I'm only speaking on behalf of the crazy nonsense that's making our community look insane.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm not trying to hate on everybody, but I'm just, you know, approaching this with an objective, rational point of view,
Oh, I hear you.
not a personal point of view.
I hear you. It's very confusing for society to see individuals wanting to reinvent themselves
In a myriad of ways.
in all sorts. I mean, you've got people that call themselves agender, and they're alien, and they're this, and they're that, and you know.
What is agender? What is that?
Oh,
What does
people
that
that don't feel like they have any
identify with
gender,
anything.
any gender at all, and
They're not male. They're not female. They're just agender. Like,
right
without gender.
without gender, and
Isn't that the same thing as non-binary?
yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Sounds like non-binary.
Yeah, pretty much, and that confuses people. You know, that really does confuse
Can you
people.
turn up your sensitivity on the mic because it's a bit, or speak up a little louder?
Oh, okay.
I can hear you guys.
Okay. Let's see here.
Yeah, we just we agree with just that common sense approach, and it's really something that there's so many people out there in this community that they want their way or the highway, and it's it goes anything from the trans athletes situation to men having periods and that kind of thing and stuff. And I mean, there's a place where we can all just come to an agreement where we understand that there are two sexes, and that there are needs within those two sexes, and these are very clearly defined.
Exactly. You were mentioning something.
Here's the thing that really gets me, like with religion. A lot of these, especially Christians, they're bad for knocking all of their religions down. But if you go to a source of religion, it's all connected to basically the same, the same beliefs, except for Buddhism, I think, which is like reincarnation. But the rest of the religions, Islam religion, Christian religion, Jewish religion, it's all basically the same, but with like a tweaked narrative to it, which kind of differentiates those religions specifically. Yep. And so like mainly the Christians, they knock down all these other religions, but a lot of the religions come from like Sumerian tablets, Mayan, and all that sort of stuff. And I'm not too sure if you guys are aware of this. I don't believe in a sky daddy, like an invisible force, channeling their energy through you to give you faith and all this sort of stuff. I think that's a load of nonsense. And I think the actual information regarding the actual religion was lost. And that's due to, I think, if you read the chariots of the gods, they talk about, ancient astronauts and everything like that. And if you go through the Sumerian tablets, you'll see that a lot of it had kind of influence to humanity. So I think humanity has a lost civilization that nobody really talks about. That's probably came from the stars or something, and then terraformed Earth to suit humanity's needs. That's kind of what I think. I'm direct, like I'm approaching this in a more scientific, valued way, as opposed to a faith way, which I think is, completely misunderstanding what actually happened.
Well, we've had a lot of shows in the past talking about this, and we've actually interviewed individuals like Gerald Clark. We've had really good guest speakers regarding the issue. I totally believe that we are a byproduct of an experiment of some sort of alien race. People look at
absolutely
science fiction and they think it's a lie, and science fiction has more fact in it. And people are just been dumbed down with these Abrahamic religions to worship and give their powers away, because we're like feeding, like the Matrix. They're feeding off of our energy. Right. We've had shows about this in the past and really shown great interest. And like I said, I've had great speakers and guest interviewees on our show. So definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, the whole concept of the one God whole storyline is based on subjugation and control of a group of people. And those who are the victors, or who kill the people that know the truth, are the ones who get to enforce their way.
Yeah, basically, Christians are enslaved by the ideology of a non-existent God that controls their lives, their values, and everything. It's just, in my mind, it comes from a delusional point of reference when they're, when that's their belief.
Right.
And then you got a lot of these teachers teaching that in the churches and just completely confusing everybody. I'm sure, the Catholics, the Vatican, they've got like they've got the truth. I think they know what's up, but I don't think they preach, the truth. But there's a lot of controversy with a lot of stuff, a lot of really important information that they're hiding because, they've gotten into astronomy and everything. They're looking at the stars and everything. They've got tools, scientific tools. Their purpose is a lot different than Christianity and all that sort of stuff.
Well,
Even though, the religion is very, very similar.
I believe that Christianity is what we're looking at as the New World Order religion, one world government, one world religion. And they've been at it for quite a while. They're the new kids on the block, yet they think that they're the ultimate, that their savior is the only savior. And they've got it all backwards. And they're literally, it's like Rome never disappeared or died. It continued, and it continued in Christianity.
Well, I also do believe that we've been sold a lot of lies with regards to, those earlier discoveries of the New World and other civilizations and things like that, where Columbus came, Cortez came, and, Pizarro came over. And they basically, what they did was to make sure that all the secrets of civilization, of mankind, of humankind, was buried and taken away, just like they're doing over in Iraq and destroying all these ancient relics and stuff so that there's no evidence of it. They want to bury all the evidence that exists so that people don't even know their past.
Exactly.
And here's the thing, I've noticed, Christians, their religion contradicts other religions because, I guess their savior is Jesus and Jesus is a Jew. Are Christians Jews? These questions I don't think people ask. It's really weird. They're completely separated from the Middle East, then why are they preaching Middle East ideology?
Well, the Bible is full of contradiction, as are all religion, because they have to keep people confused. It's almost like the fitness industry. You go out there and it's a jungle because there's so many different theories and everybody's got research papers and everybody's got a different opinion. And to me, religion is the same thing. And it's all just basically taking your power away from you and given to this almighty sky daddy, and it's basically to confuse us and to dumb us down, to keep us here on this existence, which I believe is a quarantine.
Basically, it falls into the narrative if you ever read the book Fahrenheit 451 or watched the movie.
Yes.
They dumb everyone down by burning all the education just so that they can retain power, global power,
exactly,
global dominance over the people, keeping the people stupid.
Exactly.
And that's what their main goal is. If they can keep people, the Bible even talks about the followers are related to being sheep. What dumber animal exists on the planet than an animal that follows the other animal over a cliff? It's like they already tell us what they want to do to us, and people just fall for it, because of tradition or what they've been told, or what they use that whole ancestry lineage thing. If your mom and dad were Christian, and you're kind of born into it. And it's just very damaging.
It's all part of the control system.
Yeah. Even when you're born into it, it's really hard for you to separate reality from the fantasy that you've been taught. Because like we were talking about before, the real lineage of humanity is a lot different. It's a lot more realistic. It's a lot more alien than a regular person of a religion would understand.
Well, it's like the simpleton mentality. People back in the day didn't read, so they depended on the priest. And the king was in bed with the church type of thing, and it was the way they controlled the peasants. but we've evolved as a species and we're growing. I think religion's days are outnumbered, they're numbered. And it's time for a change. And we're seeing people waking up to the truth.
Yeah, we're in the process. We're in a revolution right now of upper consciousness awakeness.
Exactly.
It's happening. Everybody's waking up. Everybody's becoming individualized for the main purpose of singularity, everyone's singularity.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be who they are. There's a purpose as to why we're here. Like this planet, for all we know, could be like a mining planet for a whole other purpose.
Quarantine planet.
If we were probably put here as a species by another species.
I believe
like
so.
If you look at the Darwin theory of evolution, a lot of Christians say that it's bullshit, but I think a lot of it holds true, at least for our evolution. Because I think honestly, if you look at Eric von Daniken, his writing about chariots of the gods, that we were created by star people, and it started with the terrestrial inhabitants of this planet, possibly, and that the monkey's DNA was infused with extraterrestrial DNA, and eventually that monkey evolved into the human that we know today, and we're just going to keep evolving to the point where now we're going to merge with technology and transhumanism and just become eventually super sentient, and we're going to have a longer lifespan. We're basically going to be becoming the image of, quote, God, I guess, the real God, the alien God that nobody really wants to acknowledge.
It sounds, really interesting. And there's so many theories, Darcy. There's so many. I choose no longer to say this is the way, because we are so,
I think it's...
No, it fell. Yeah, it went.
It's
No.
there.
Hello, are you there?
Are you there?
I heard it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're there.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. There's so many theories and there's so many different beliefs, and I think it's all because they want to keep us confused. I think the answers are within us, and we are now slowly realizing a lot of things that we were blinded with.
The whole concept of government and control of the people and democracy, even, this all comes from the Sumerian rights of the kings, and all that being descended and dropped down into, these kings, literal kings, because there were kings before that were from other planets that came down to this planet. Mm-hmm. And they basically, Christianity, I know we call it the new kid on the block, but Christianity is just the latest iteration of God-man worship. That's mm-hmm. the same thing. Yeah. It's they did it, the Greeks did it with Zeus and Hercules and all these, and Isis and Osiris and all that. This is nothing different than that. It's just repackaged God-man worship. And the fact is that we do not owe any God any worship. Mm-hmm. No God needs to be worshipped because we are creator gods of our own.
Yeah, we're completely sentient, and we're only going to get more intelligent as time goes on.
Exactly.
With advancement in neuroscience, with diffusion of processing cells into the brain, and neural link science, connecting the mind to the computer and all that sort of stuff. And it's just going to get more advanced after that. And then there's going to be, especially with quantum computers, there's going to be a huge advancement. It's going to really up science in general, and especially biological science. These supercomputers will be able to basically revolutionize the world and medical fields and everything like that. So it's going to get really crazy. Google actually owns a quantum computer, and the way its operation works is it utilizes simultaneously zeros and ones at the same time, so it can compute and crunch information quicker and faster in a lot of different, basically, realities, universes. It just crunches everything in different universes, so it can get to a specific point. With regular computers, it's a lot slower because it only crunches with two numbers, 0 and 1, and then that's just multi-blurred.
Wow.
But that takes a long time. So.
There's this series that we watched on Netflix called The Travelers. I don't know if you watched it, but it was really interesting how it actually, you know, it's almost like the AI computer was playing as a god, and they sent these individuals back in time to change certain events because humanity in the 21st century had destroyed the earth. And pretty much, you know, it's what we're seeing, you know, that mankind is just hasn't been responsible, a good steward to this planet or to themselves, and have been so archaic to believe in this Yahweh God and this whole concept of us little people, God, big cojones, you know, and that's what's destroying ourselves as a species.
Yeah, like the fantasy fictitious God, the invisible sky daddy that doesn't exist.
Exactly.
That gives everybody commands. That's just a bunch of bullshit.
Exactly.
But you know, if you go to the real, like the real tablets and all that sort of stuff, it's a lot different, and it paints a way different picture, a more realistic picture, a picture that defines that, you know, humanity was made by a biological being or, you know, some kind of being, but it's a physical being. It's not like this invisible force that just creates everything. That's just nonsense.
Yeah.
You can't create nothing out of
nothing. Yeah.
It
And
doesn't make sense.
who created the
no
creator? You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. Well, gosh,
It's not like creation is energy,
that's it.
and energy is, you know, it has to take form in something.
Yeah.
Because basically, you know, to create a human, you got to engineer. You got to be an engineer of some kind.
Exactly.
That can change a planet. That can change, you know, the human genome and all that sort of stuff, upgrading and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we literally have a battery inside of us called the heart,
Yeah.
you know, and how is that heart started when it does go down with electric impulses, you know, from a defibrillator. But one of the quotes from this show that we've just finished watching, it was called Travelers, it was on Netflix. It said, "For 2,000 years, mankind believed that God was created in his image, guiding our lives, hearing our prayers. But when those prayers weren't answered, we just chalked it up to his divine will. But then mankind created the power to build God, a machine more powerful than any human mind could ever be. The fate of our existence just handed to an AI with the ability to monitor each and every shifting timeline, while we blindly obey its orders with the belief that salvation will come. The problem isn't the fact that we believed in God, it's that we didn't believe in ourselves."
Exactly.
You know, like if reality is really a computational process built full of algorithms, then that basically means, like, if you have a quantum computer, it can create technology that can basically create, you know, anything you want out of thin air just through tapping into the fabric of space.
Exactly.
Through, you know, a super advanced computer. You know, the engineering of humanity, if we ever get to that point, that's going to be insane. And, you know, like now, I think China, they've got like some kind of technology where they have two atoms that can communicate. So, like, if you have an atom across the star system, you can instantly contact with someone on Earth, basically, because the atoms share the same. Well, it's the same atom, but it shares a different space. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's quantum entanglement, I believe, what it's called. So
Yeah,
I find that really fascinating.
there's a lot of fascinating things, information that we're now as a species becoming privy to when our veil of our eyes is being removed and our knowledge is catching up. We're like maturing to be able to understand a lot of the things that are going to be taking place. But one of the things that I'm very much against is the fear mongering. There's a lot of people that really, create this end of the world scenario, doomsday and create fear and uncertainty. And I think we are heading to magnificent times. It's an awakening. It's an evolution of our species beyond imagination. And we should not fear it. We should welcome it and welcome the fact that we're being freed from the old ways, which is awesome, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like dogma does cause a lot of famine and destruction and everything like that. It's really, the main holder of society. It holds society back a lot. Like Muslims, they went from basically the 70s. Like in the 70s, they went, like their technology was basically the same as the 70s in, say, North America or whatever. And then it went back to basically the sand days because they just their religion just completely destroyed technology. And now they're, building that back up again. Mm-hmm. And that I find fascinating because, it just shows, the conscience growing and overcoming a lot of these things that hold back, humanity from becoming the future. And, the future is important.
It is. And the Bible...
Without acceptance of ideas, if you just completely ridicule ideas, those ideas cannot grow into what they want manifest to be. And it's important to just welcome all the ideas, creativity. Yeah. Because if we don't, then we're just going to be stuck.
And we can't fear them
for a very, very long time.
We can't fear them. If we look back, the Tower of Babel, the story behind when we were trying to become like work together, trying to become like gods. This thing that wants to keep us enslaved confused our language, and I think that has something to do with confusing our DNA and dumbed us down. And we're back again on trying to do these wonderful new things and break free from the restraints of this species, which I could call reptilian for a namesake. But yeah, a lot of really interesting stuff here.
But recently there was the new Terminator movie came out this past Friday, and it bombed. It literally bombed compared to the 1984 original.
Woke. They went woke. They went with all female protagonists. It just completely destroyed the movie.
Yeah,
that was disappointing.
It was.
And I think
honestly, I wanted to see a future war. In Terminator, that's all I wanted to see is a future war. The only thing that came close to that was Salvation.
Yeah.
And that, in my opinion, that's the official third Terminator movie because, it might not have been James Cameron's representation, but it was pretty good. I enjoyed it, and I think Christian Bale did a really good job of acting as John Connor.
I think personally, though, that one of the biggest reasons that the movie did tank is also because people are not afraid of technology. People are melding with technology. People are not adverse to connecting, their tissue and body part to some other piece of technology if it's going to lengthen their life and stuff. So back in 1984, that was something that was fearful. People were fearful of that, But now it's like, people are like, bring it on.
We're evolving. And religion is what's trying to keep us from that evolution, those God-believing people.
That movie, though, that's not why it bombed. It bombed because it had a political to it, not because people fear technology. It's because they were replacing the protagonist characters with female wokeness.
Yeah.
It just ruins films if it's not done organically.
Yeah.
Like Terminator 2, it was a huge success because it had character development between the first and second movie of a strong mom and motherhood.
Right.
And that's really taken away in these new Terminator movies, and it just doesn't feel organic because they're pushing female protagonist wokeness into the movies, and it just feels forced.
Mm-hmm.
Plus it's bad storyline because they kill off John Connor, and the whole reason why Terminator exists is because of John. He's the narrative of the future, and when you completely remove that out of the equation, you've got just a meaningless money packer of a movie.
Right. But Lynna didn't say that people fear technology. That people do not fear technology anymore. That it's actually welcomed. And so, and you're right. The whole political thing about female wokeness and the whole. I mean, the movie to me seemed like a B type movie.
Yeah.
It almost like this. The quality wasn't there. The effects weren't there. It's almost like they
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Mark. But you want to know how much money they actually put into Terminator Dark Fate? They put in $180 million into that movie, but they only grossed $28 million from it because of their political movement. Especially Tim Miller, he really shat on the fans because he was just basically like, if you don't like this movie, you're a misogynist or all that sort of stuff. Just throwing out insaneless, meaningless banter at his core audience, and he lost a lot of money because of that. And James Cameron, he was on board because he wrote the script. He's the producer, and he had a lot to blame to that. He actually said Genesis was a good movie, and that flopped too because it was bad. With this new Terminator movie, they took a lot of things from like Genesis and Terminator 3, and it was just a mess. And then they integrated it with female wokeness, and it just wasn't the same. That's really disappointing because it could have had potential, especially with the budget that they had, $180 million.
Wow. Yeah, I was disappointed. I really was. I was expecting more, But when you're awake and you look at movies no longer as science fiction. You look at movies as information highway. They're telling a story, and those of us that are awake, we see the signs and the little coding behind things, and it was kind of like disappointing.
Becky's right. The director wasn't Cameron. Not that you said it was.
No. I was gonna say no. I said the producer was Cameron.
Right.
The director was Tim Miller.
Right.
That's what I said. Yeah. I don't think she heard me when I said that.
Right.
So I just wanted to clear that up because, like James Cameron, he was in direct, contact with all these other things to create the movie, but he didn't write the script. He probably said okay here and there, but there was other people that wrote the script, including James Cameron. Tim Miller, no, but the movie flopped, and you would think because James Cameron was involved in the producing and writing that it would have been good, but it's not. So.
Well, Darcy, thank you so much for calling in. It's been great. We're going to be having more shows and touching a lot of these topics and just being a source of information like we were prior to our splitting up.
Yeah.
But definitely appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for calling in and for your information
and insight.
Yeah. Definitely.
We totally agree with so much of what you've enlightened people with today. With regards to Sumerian cult, the whole history, the Christian thing, and I mean just what the plan is for our planet, and there's so much that we haven't been given the information that you want to know something these days, it's out there for you to find out. But if you don't do the research and you just sit back on your Bible to tell you how to live or how to be or how to function, you're never going to find out.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
You'll never find out if you're just stuck in the box and ignorant and everything. You know, you can never evolve consciously.
No. And they play on people's insecurities and shame and hurt and childhood traumas, you know, to grab you when you hit rock bottom. And that's what happened to me during the time that I, you know, became the church lady and the crazy thing that I did, you know, based on my trauma, based on all sorts of things. But luckily that, you know, I woke up from the craziness and came to my senses again.
One of the things that
I just like that was really toxic. I think you were at your worst when you were Maritza.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I watched some of your shows you were regarding some of the questions on some of the people that spoke that said that you were crazy when you were, that you're more crazy when you're Mark, but you were like sane and rational when you were Maritza. I completely disagree with that.
Oh, I do
You're
too.
a lot more rational as Mark.
Yeah.
And you were insane as Maritza because I just have this feeling like you felt like you were forced to participate in their delusions of grandeur, just to appease them, and you know, and you still got hate regardless.
Yeah.
And you know, I think you're doing like the most positive thing for yourself, just accepting who you are right now.
It's been a journey, but I'm glad that I am where I am, and just looking forward to the future. Looking forward for both Lynna and I to be, you know, a source of inspiration and help for those that are out there. We totally believe that there's a lot of misinformation in the trans community. It needs to be straightened out. There is a lot of SJ, you know, like you said, social justice warriors, and just, you know, things that make us as trans people look crazy, and that needs to change, you know. But
absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Darcy. Thank you so much. We're gonna go ahead and because we've been on for almost 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And appreciate you, and you know, don't be a stranger. And you know the number to call in. Because I like it to come through the thing instead of the phone.
Right.
And that's how I had it before, but I don't know what happened. It's been a while.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Darcy.
Take care.
Take care, guys.
All right, have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. All right, so
There's so much, and we just appreciate everything that you had to say, Darcy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for calling in and giving us your thoughts and your insight. It's very valuable to our listeners, and we love it when people do call in, and we do miss doing shows where we interview people, that kind of thing. Maybe we could get back to doing something like that. And if Darcy, you're interested in being on our show, just, you know, we send us an email at transitionradioshow@gmail.com, and we could hook you up and have you come on and share, just talk about your life and things that you're passionate about, things that you're concerned about, and you know, it'd be fun.
That would be awesome. Thank you, Darcy. All right, guys, we did have other things we were going to talk about. We'll leave it for another time. The real narcissist, you know, people throw around that word like crazy, but it's just a diagnosis that's very much misdiagnosed, and no one's entitled to throw that diagnosis around. I know that when we were at war with one another, we called each other that, but that's because we were at war with each other.
We just wanted to hurt each other.
Yeah, hurt people.
It wasn't very nice.
No, it wasn't.
You know, because you're not a narcissist. You've been so giving and loving and kind and gentle. I mean, I can't imagine my life like that song that we played on our wedding. You know, I can't imagine me without you. And that's,
we'll never have to.
I'm so grateful, you know, because we have made our share of mistakes, believe me, as a couple, and we are learning and growing. And ever since coming back together with with this wonderful, wonderful human being, my life has never been better. My life has never been more complete, more happy, more filled with love and acceptance and joy than I have since we got back together. And I am amazed at how much growth we've done as a couple.
Yeah.
You know, I totally honor you and your place in our relationship. I totally honor the person that you are and what you bring to this relationship. It's an amazing, amazing thing, and we're just basically on the ground floor again. You know, just really getting going. You know, we're gonna touch a lot of people's lives, and I know that there's something special for us to do in this life, and we are twin flames, and we have been put together for a reason, and we've been given these challenges for a purpose and growth. We're here to rise above all that. You know, we're here to become a better version of Mark and Lynna Cummings. You know, and to inspire people to become better versions of themselves too.
That's what it's all about. You know, to believe in yourself. You know, to stop letting the world beat you down, because the world does that to many of us. You don't have to be part of the LGBT to be beat down. You know, the world, and I think it's the nature of those that created this reality here that we're living on, to keep us enslaved. So it's time to free ourselves. It's time to step up. That's awesome, Darcy. He says, I'll come on the show sometime. Cool. Awesome. So just shoot us an email at transitionradioshow@gmail.com so I can send you the forms and we'll set up a date. And all you need is a webcam. You know, if you watch any of our interviews, we use StreamYard. It's pretty easy. I send you the link and you just basically go on there, and you don't need any special programs or anything like that.
I just wanted to add that if you do want to see exactly what a narcissist looks like, you have every piece of evidence in any one of the books of the Bible that you would open up. I mean, just look at the God of the Old Testament in Exodus and tell me if that is not a narcissist. Tell me if the God of Genesis, who said that he was repentant of even creating humankind, that he was going to destroy them from the face of the earth, man, woman, child, you know, animal, you know, I mean, it's amazing that the fish even got away with what they got away with. But, you know, it's like, you want to see an image of narcissism.
It's your Yahweh.
Look to your Yahweh. Look to your God. Look to the God of the Abrahamic faith, so the Jews, of the Christians, and of the Muslims. I mean, that God is a tyrant and an absolute soulless, like Becky was saying. True narcissists are soulless. That is a great place to start if you want to find out what a true narcissist looks like.
And thank you, Becky. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. We always appreciate you coming in and moderating. And thank all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, we are just beginning. There's a lot that we plan to do with Real Talk with the Cummings. You know, you have seen our faces, as in PH, you know, different ups and downs and all arounds. And, you know, are we perfect human beings? No, we're not. But we grow and learn every day. We seek truth, you know, and that's what we've always been about. And we just get detoured along the way. But, you know, there's a lot that we want to say and do with Real Talk with the Cummings. So, yeah. So, let's see here. You're welcome, guys. I had fun. Well, thank you, Darcy. We had fun too. It was awesome. We just got to figure out our audio here, because I like it coming through the speaker or Bluetooth, and not almost like it kicked it out or something. Yeah. I don't know what.
Sometimes Bluetooth on there just
we have to figure it out. But yeah. All right, guys. Take care. Thank you so much, and have a great weekend. It is Friday today.
That's right. That's
you
what
guys
we're gonna do.
Stay away from trouble. Just keep being the best you that you can be. That's all that you can do. Grow, evolve. Have a lot of self-love. It's important. Don't feel that you're being selfish when you tend to yourself, because if you're not tending to yourself, then you're not good for anyone else, and that's how it works.
Definitely practice loving yourself.
Yes, it's very important. All right, guys. Have a good night
All right.
and be well. We'll see you soon. Take care.